Hi, I'm Jennifer Schlickburn, the Game Brain pioneer from Game Brain Podcast. Today, I'm here to talk about Dwellings of Eldervale, right? Eldervale. It just seems so close to Everdale, and in some ways, it reminds me of that game, at least as far as the theming and the images. So, I was fortunate enough to obtain this copy basically at cost. I didn't have to pay a big markup, and in fact, I paid $50 less than the new pre-order for this same version. This is the deluxe version with the miniatures and these types of things and, the wooden components. And, I feel it was a good deal. I can certainly see where the money went in this game. So in Dwellings, I'm not going to talk a lot about Dwellings as far as how to play, but basically there's a board of hexes and you're putting down units on the hexes, and then there's another kind of a rondel, not really a rondel because you don't go around, but think Teotihuacan with the ability to kind of go up to get better rewards. And the game plays, I think 4 players, particularly with once you have some experience, you should be done with it before 2 hours, which is nice. It doesn't have much of a tendency to AP. I think most of what you want to do is in front of you, and when it's not your turn, you can figure out, your plans fairly easily. It's not a game where, every turn something major happens, so you have to throw out all your plans and things of that nature. The game, basically you put a unit on the board. These are monsters, by the way. Your units are still very nicely done, but they're not like this. So you put out a unit, and, if you put a unit where another unit is, then there's a battle, right? And then at some point you're going to run out of your units and they all come back. There's hexes that have various, landscapes on them. And then there's also special places that they call ruins where you can do special actions. The game gets bigger if you visit the dungeon. You can get more magic cards, which are these small cards that give you little quests and endgame points and little advantages. There aren't any bad ones. You can convert your workers on the board, existing workers on the board, to houses. And you literally take this little house roof thing and put it on top of the worker so that the worker is walking around with a house on his head, right? That scores you in-game points. I would say that there are definitely strategies in the game. When the map is first laid out, when you first sit down to play, there are going to be spaces that are at the end of the game going to be more valuable than other spaces. There's also an adjacency thing going on. So let's say you have 3 workers and they're all adjacent to each other, and then someone comes in and wants to battle you. Well, the other 2 workers can join into the battle and perhaps help you out. Also, each faction, which I believe there's like 8 factions. Each faction has their own special deal, this one rolls more dice, or this one is a cannon and can can affect battles without having to actually move in, various things, which are pretty straightforward. I don't think there would be a lot of confusion or, about what they do and how they work. The battle is a battle of sixes, right? So let's say all of the monsters at least roll 4 dice and sometimes they roll 5 dice. But your people may roll a varying number up to 6 dice in a battle. And so basically, if you have one guy and that guy rolls a 6 and the monsters roll 5 dice and never roll a 6, you win. So like I said, it's a battle of the sixes. It makes for interesting gameplay. A lot of people, they're kind of against dice, and there is a variant where you can use these tactic cards to help offset what happens with the dice. For us, we're kind of dice people. I mean, I've got Cthulhu Wars on my shelf, and that's just nothing but dice and sixes. And we really enjoy that game. So, I don't find the dice to be a problem. Other people might. The game is over when either one player makes 6 dwellings, which we haven't seen. I think we've played it 4 times now. Have not seen anyone build 6 dwellings. I'm sure it's possible, but we haven't seen it. And then there's scoring. I mean, after the game end is triggered, everybody gets one more round, and then there's scoring. And the scoring can involve multiplying. So on the track that your pieces are going up, well, depending on where you are on that track, and also how much elemental power that you have gotten from the track, you can get a pretty substantial amount of points that way. There's also special cards called vault cards, and then the prophecy cards, which are the end of game cards, which are in here. So the game is really well done in the sense of, the insert takes this. So when you get ready to play, it's not like, well, I got this big old stack of cards, we got to shuffle this and deal this out and stuff. This is ready to go. Same thing with this. These are some of the components, and they're right there ready. You don't have to find a bowl to put the components in or anything like that. It's ready to go, which is, for those of us who play several games in the day, that is really, really worth something, and very much appreciated. The insert's done very well. You're not going to buy some other insert because this one sucks. I thought it was good value. Yeah, in fact, all around the game is really good value for what you pay. My issue with the game, personally, I'm a heavy game player. I like, 1830 and Tricarion and Cthulhu Wars and On Mars and Lisboa. Those kind of games. And this game is basically a middleweight Euro, as we call them. It used to be just another soulless Euro, but I think most people have found that to be a little too negative. And there's tactics and stuff, but there isn't the tension that I really like in a game. I'm playing maybe 1822, and there's going to be a train rush, and okay, so what can I do? This game doesn't make me feel that way. I mean, there are absolutely better spaces that you want to compete for. So it's certainly a competitive game. It's not like, this is my opinion, of course, like Praga, which is, well, I can put it here and I can put it here and maybe somebody will come along and maybe someone won't. No, it's much better, again, in my assessment, than Praga is. But I'm not going to keep it because this was $175 and I can flip it for the same $175, most likely being that the pre-orders for the same version are at $224. And it's my version, this sleeved and stuff. And so it's not worth keeping for me. I think if it had, more to it, more, long-term strategy, more truly tense moments, I would consider it, but it really doesn't. But now, for those of you who like something like Scythe, or, you like the heavier kind of middleweight Euros with conflict, this is right up your alley. But for me, it doesn't really work. Just to be clear, when I sell it, it'll be sold locally. I do not want to deal with having to ship all of this or expecting someone to pay the full shipping cost. So, at any rate, that's my assessment of Dwellings of Everdale, Eldervale. And, if you enjoy it, I'm not sure if the pre-order is still active. Of course, today is April 20th, so things may have changed anyway since, once you've watched this. But, if you like, particularly, I think Scythe, or other, dudes on a map, lighter dudes on a map games, you should look into it. And of course, if you have the funds for it. So thank you very much for watching and have a great week.